Good evening, everybody. I'm George Chris, a member of the Planning Commission and the chair of the Comprehensive Programs and Policy Committee, which is one of the two committees of the Planning Commission. As you know, we recently passed the Comprehensive Plan, and the Board of Supervisors approved it and passed it. This is something that needs to be done every 5 years according to state law to have it updated. We did a complete revision of the comprehensive plan, and we used a different format than ever had been used before, where we had a lot of input from you, the citizens of the county, into the comp plan as we were putting it together. The comp plan, as I said, is a legal requirement from the state. What we're here for tonight is to work on an area plan for this particular area, the 16,000 acres that's on this side of I-81. And this does not have to be done because of a state legislation, but we have found that using an area plan approach, then we can better determine what is needed in particular areas and try to satisfy what the citizens in those particular areas want and need. We've been doing this now for about the last 20 years. It's proved successful, but most of it previously had been done with members of the Planning Commission and a few other people. Tonight we are here to tell you about and use the same approach that we use in developing the comprehensive plan. With that, I will stop and I will turn it over to June Wilmot, who's the chair of the Planning Commission. You ladies don't get jealous, but she is the chair and there's 14 guys on the committee and she tells us what to do. June?
Thank you. I'm the mama. It's a great group to work with. You know, it's awfully easy to do a job when everybody around you is smarter than you are. So I'm forever grateful to George. Some of his compatriots are in the audience. Gary Oates from the Stonewall District. Who else?
Talk louder, June.
It's not a mic.
It's not a mic.
Oh.
She just goes into that.
Okay. And Phil Lemieux. Okay, on the Planning Commission. Anybody else that I need to recognize? Well, we have also we have two members of the board. My friend, Mr. Collins, and Gene Fisher from Shawnee. We're glad they're here. Let me tell you about this. There are a series of firsts that are going on now. First of all, we've got that new plan, and that's terrific. Secondly, this is the first time that we have done an area plan that's as big as this one is going to be. And when you look at the map, you can tell its reach. It is 16,000 acres. 16,000 acres east of I-81 to the Clark County line. Okay? The other thing that is a first about it is this is the first time we've gone out to the citizens and asked them the first question is, what do you want? And that's why we're here. You won't see anything that you need to comment on tonight. What you see back here is what's currently in the plan. But what we are asking you to do is take a look at some of that and tell us what it is that you think should be changed or improved or what have you. Now, to do that, I think most of you have seen our little sign-up sheet, and it's important time-wise. And Mike will tell you the working groups that we will have involved. And the reason that we're asking you to fill this out and leave it off is that by October the 5th, we will have the first meeting of the working groups and the Planning Commission. So we've got to do some good skating between here and there. Well, Mike, come on. Do you all know Mike Ruddy? He's Deputy Director for the Department of Planning and the guy that really does all the work. So enjoy, and don't forget these.
Thank you, June. All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming on out. Many new faces and a lot of folks who have participated in the past. So again, thank you for being here. It's going to be very, very simple. We've got a couple of introductions. I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview of the study area and talk a little bit about the working groups and how you can participate. It'll only take us about 10 minutes, if that. But to the rear of the room, what we have are 3 stations set up with those existing maps, if you will, of existing facilities. You know, the current land uses, urban areas, schools, parks, transportation connections, basically how the comprehensive plan reads today as we look at this study area of the county. So when we break, we've got the rest of the evening to talk with some of the planning staff, planning commissioners, and get your input and information. Alex, behind me there's going to be a little bit of a loop going off, and we have one over there too, which introduces some of the areas that we're going to be planning beyond where we are at today. So as we do so, as we get into this study area, of course, we're primarily trying to encourage you guys to participate in these working groups. The handout has been crafted, if you will, tailored to give you some thinking points, to raise some questions as to what you would like to see in certain areas, building from what you like out there today and what you want to see in the future, and how can we truly meet the anticipated growth demands of this area of the county, because the urban areas of the county are, of course, where we're anticipating the growth to occur and where we're planning to accommodate that growth. Of course, it's located ideally in Frederick County if we truly understand the rural areas of the county compared with the urban areas of the county. So the purpose, again, of this study effort is to help determine what that will look like 20 years from now. Do we have the study, I think the next one? Okay, can we pause right there, Alex, please? So the comprehensive plan was set up with the different chapters that looked at urban areas, rural areas, business development, residential development. And we're going to focus the working groups. Can we go back 1 second? Okay, perfect. We're going to focus the working groups on those areas that relate directly to the comprehensive plan. Again, the first working group is the urban areas and residential development. So that looks at how we build the community, how we integrate all of the uses together. That's probably the most comprehensive of the working groups. The second one is, I believe, business development. So that focuses on the commercial, the industrial. Obviously, this is an area that has some very important highway corridors. It has the airport, which is a huge economic development engine for the county, and the area of 522 as we head towards the inland port. So there's a lot of business development opportunities in this part of the county. The third one is transportation. That working group deals with, of course, all the transportation connections, whether it's Route 37, Channing Drive, improvements to Senseny Road. It also looks at complete streets, such as pedestrian accommodations, bicycle and trail networks. So transportation is kind of a way to connect it and pull it all together. And the fourth and final working group is of course, the natural resources, historic resources, and community facilities, those public facilities that have been planned, such as new schools, new park sites, to accommodate not only the community that we have today, but the community that will grow into in 20, 30 years from now. So hopefully you have some interest in one or more of those components. And we would truly encourage you to fill out one of these forms. Hopefully before you leave, and you can drop it off, there's a little box on the table on your way out. But really what we're looking for you to do is to help form those working groups. Again, those are the 4 areas that we would like to see filled. Now, of course, the form also gives you the opportunity to check a box, if you will, and follow along with the study effort. So as the working groups do their work and it all gets pulled back together, there'll be plenty of opportunity for other folks to offer comment, and hopefully some yin and yang back and forth, some hopefully affirmation of what has been discussed and proposed, or also gives us the ability to check and maybe move in a different direction. So the way we have, again, set this form up is to identify those groups, hopefully get you interested, and get your contact information so you guys can continue to participate with us. Now, what qualifies you to be on the group? I think ultimately June Wilmot, the chairman of the Planning Commission, will help finalize these working groups, but as a resident, as a business owner, maybe somebody who works in the area, maybe somebody who has a special interest in one component or another, or a special skill that you can bring to the table. That's what we're looking to see, and really that's quite comprehensive, and hopefully gives you the in that you want to get on one of these working groups. We will be working relatively hard through the months of October and November. And the idea is once these working groups are set up, that you'll work pretty much independently with each other amongst your group. And you know, whether that's at Starbucks, at the county planning office, here at a community meeting room, wherever that may be, you guys have the ability to, you know, complete freedom, if you will, to get your working group working however it needs to work. And of course, that may be completely over the internet and digitally. Who knows how it's done today. Again, we're encouraging a lot of participation in this study, but also a lot of different ways of communication, because that is, you know, again, the outreach that we want to do and the input we want to encourage. I think traditionally we've gone out and we've tried to do that, and we've got a great amount and really valuable input, but there are obviously new methods and new forums out there where we can receive that. And truly we believe this part of the county is an area that has changed quite a bit. It's in an area where perhaps more so than any other study that we've had in the county, there is the ability for more communication, and we see that's going to happen. You may all be involved in some way, shape or form with the different schools that are out in this part of the county. And we know that the communication at the school level has really, really increased significantly, so we hope to step along too. A very brief side note on the school side of things, this is predominantly the Millbrook School District. So we're very, very pleased to be working with the Millbrook High School AP students, a whole group of them, who are going to create their own working groups and come up with their own study, if you will. And we're going to see how that meshes back in and how we can pull their input into the final product too. They're going to be kicking off here over the next couple of months as part of their credit for their course, which is great, but hopefully that will be valuable, as valuable to them as it will be to us to have their input into the study effort. So really, we want to encourage you to participate in the working groups and participate with the study. We don't want to scare you, but to reassure you, if you will, that as you participate and provide input, as a staff, we're there to help you. We're there to help the groups meet, and we're there to help you recognize, if you will, where the starting point may be, where the comprehensive plan gives some guidance as to the complete street policies, or, you know, how we want pedestrian connectivity to happen. Other areas, how maybe there's a mix of uses that would be appropriate, or how can we get our economic development policies in place. So it's quite an effort. It should be a lot of fun, hopefully, for those who are that way inclined, which I'm taking we all are, because we all came out to visit here this evening. So again, we encourage that participation. Before we break, again, to just... Yep, of course, on the bottom of your flyer is the county website, and we have a page set up which has many of the maps that you have out there behind us, the study area, a lot of the existing information, and we'll be using that continually to check back in with each other, so people can also, you know, get on there and see an updated map or some points that people are trying to make, and really use that as an ongoing forum for that discussion. And I think we're also on Facebook, right, Alex? So for those folks who may be into Facebook, then there are other ways to get in touch too. So as we break right now, I'm going to, you know, again, point out that some of the questions that are trying to get us going here are questions to ask yourselves, you know, building from things you like about the community already, or this part of the community, things that you think are missing, and then talking a little bit about the trails and the public places, talking a bit about neighborhood villages and urban centers, and maybe a different way to approach the urban development here in the county. Thinking about those transportation connections, you know, and again, thinking about the commercial and business development opportunities that exist. Where can they go? Ultimately, at the end of this, we'll have a plan. Maybe it's 10 pages long, if you will, and probably 4 maps to accompany each of these working group areas, which really, hopefully, will be a result of this effort. So, you know, again, we encourage you to ask questions, find out where we're at today, and put your ideas forward and drop this off before you leave here this evening. And again, we have 3 stations set up. There are 6 tables, but each station is pretty much the same. And we'll have current land use, current transportation, where the schools, where the parks are identified to go, and of course the study area boundary. George.
One thing to reemphasize is that this is going to be done in a very short period of time. and it's not a commitment for a year or anything like that. If you want to work with us, it's about a 2 or 3 month commitment, and that's it. Now, you may meet every week, may meet every 2 weeks, something like this, but it's very short. It's not extended over a whole long period of time.
Great. Yeah, thank you, because then again, we've set up, if you will, how the working groups that we would like to have covered, and we'll give you some guidance as how to actually put it down and give you some maps to draw it on, if you will. But then they'll be turned over, as George mentioned, as we go through December, and then we'll pull it all together and present it onto the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors after Christmas. So that's the plan of attack, and again, we encourage you to participate. There's plenty of opportunity to ask questions and hopefully get some answers as we get back there. But before we do so, does anybody have anything they would like to find out a little bit more of, or are we good to break? Yes, sir.
What is the study group for the north side of 37?
You mean the Northeast Land Use Plan? Mm-hmm. Well, that was actually completed, updated, prior to this comprehensive plan being adopted. And it was, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it was April or May of 2010 where that Northeast Land Use Plan was updated.
So you had a meeting like this?
We had a couple of meetings like this up in the Stonewall Elementary School. We had probably about 130 people at that one. I don't know, it was kind of a crazy meeting, which was a lot of fun. But we had a lot of input at that meeting. So that was the last land use plan that we did before we updated the whole comprehensive plan with kind of the updated policies and guidance. And I think the big difference with this one is we got a lot of participation in that one, but here with this study effort, we're looking to go beyond that and have you participate in the working groups and actually put the stuff down in place. Yeah.
Well, did you have working groups up there?
No. We covered similar areas, if you will. It was commercial, industrial development predominantly, transportation, and the same natural resources. And it provided a good transition, if you will. So that one's kind of done and out of there. But the southern boundary of that really re-emphasized development-sensitive areas. So there's a big area, if you will, where the battlefield is, where Millbrook High School, where Redbud Run, and the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries has some open space. So that created a large area that was, if you will, set aside and to be promoted. That was the southern boundary of that Northeast Land Use Plan, and that is actually, we're zipping through space here, but that was that actually forms the northern boundary of this one. So basically,
But you didn't handle them the same.
Not quite the same, no, because obviously we progress and hopefully reach out and things get better as we go along.
Bill, the process that you see going on here was started with the comprehensive plan overview. Until that time, the revisions were done in a traditional way. And we've just pumped the differences, trying to get out to you all and doing working groups. You all know what you want in your area. You all know what you miss. You all know what you love. And so that's the importance of this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a specific need, and then we can just get on with. We are looking. Well, the other thing that we did that's first is we reached out specifically to the homeowners associations. Is there anyone in the room that received the notification as a member or, if you will, an official of homeowners association?
Great.
And your name?
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. And yours?
Lisa Scantoni.
Thank you.
Hi. Yeah. Come up with me afterwards or sometime, and let me just talk to you about why I'm so interested in your being here. Okay? That's it.
Great. So we're going to take this opportunity to break. There are some cookies and some water. If you guys need a refreshment or two, it's a little hot in here, I know. I think they turned the air conditioning off at 4 o'clock in the evening. But again, we have 3 stations with maps to look at and plenty of people to ask questions. And please, if you have to leave with these things filled out later, please get them into us or get online and drop them off. Otherwise, drop them off up front before you leave. Again, thank you for coming out tonight.